just before, on my way in over to Hotel Tia, someone drew my attention to something that's in the Express today, and it's not one of the papers I've bought today, mainly because it's shite. But yeah, there's this really utterly bizarre piece in the Express from Colin Matham. Never heard of him before. He appears to be some kind of shock jock tabloid tit who has written something where he's having a go at Liverpool, and our fans, and he says Liverpool Football Club should condemn the thug fans who shame them and the country. I'm not quite sure whether this is coming from when there's someone lying in hospital critically ill. I'm not sure about the motivation for it. You just want a few clicks for your piece, do you, Colin? But, you know, I'll read you some of it because, you know, it sent my head west. I know you've just been shocked by it and I've shown it to you as well. And, you know, I'll read you a bit of it. I have no wish to rain on Liverpool's parade. The 5-2 demolition of Roma was often spellbinding and unworthy of winning the Champions League on its own. It's not the players who produced that performance I have an issue with. It's some of the people who follow them, that's in quote marks there, that frighten the living daylights out of me. You would have thought the horrors of the past would have made everyone more aware of their responsibilities to each other. Where did those empty bottles come from? Where did those fire flares that were thrown out of City and Roma team buses come from? You couldn't bring them through customs the last time I looked. He goes on, why is a 53-year-old man now seemingly fighting for his life and 2 Italians being held on suspicion of attempted murder before a football match involving Liverpool? Now this is where it gets really dark and weird. When you have a team capable of playing the joyous football Liverpool have for most of this season, how on earth are their fans always seemingly involved in such horrific altercations on big European nights? We've had lots of them this season, and where were these horrific altercations? Where are the hooligans around the ground? I've been going to the ground for absolute years. I've been going to the ground this season to European nights, and that's the first time I've ever known anything like that, what happened outside the Albert the other night. But yeah, don't let the facts get in the way though. How does trouble seem to follow them like bees round a honeypot? No one is suggesting that the violence that erupted on Tuesday night was solely the fault of Liverpool fans. Their visitors from Rome were clearly just as thuggish and just as frightening. There are suggestions that the reputation of Liverpool supporters had gone before them and Roman yobs had simply decided to get in first and with such awful consequences. It's not right, but it does highlight a common denominator. All of this is a crying shame because Jurgen Klopp has produced a great team, blah, blah, blah. I urge Liverpool Football Club to condemn rather than give succour to excuses like it's society's problem and all the world's against us. They're in quote marks as well. Who's said those words? Who's ever said that? Where is that? Why is it in quote marks? I haven't said it. I don't know anyone else who's said it. The club needs to recognise it has a big problem and has had for some years and proactively support and work with those whose job it is to preserve law and order. If they don't, there's a real danger that revenge will be sought by both sides when they meet in Rome for the second leg. And if that happens, we will all be losers on and off the field. Staggering. I really don't know how that is in print or on the internet. Yeah. I'm not sure of the points being made. He appears to be suggesting that there's a lad lying in hospital and it's his fault somehow.
Yeah, Robbo mentioned this to me. I hadn't seen it. Rob mentioned it to me and I read it just before we started recording. And honestly, before I started reading it, I thought, oh, well, it'll be another one of these it's all Liverpool fans' fault type thing. And I was honestly horrified by reading that. I think pieces like this sum up why, and we're getting deep here, aren't we? Like we'll go on to fun stuff later, but it sums up why the Western world is in the mess it's in, basically, because the language in that article is just inflammatory. And I'm not sure what's worse from this fella. I've never heard of him before. I'm not sure what's worse, whether it's just to drive clicks to the Express's website or whether he believes what he's writing. I'm not sure which of those two things. Maybe it's both. Maybe he believes it and it's going to drive clicks, because it'll get attention. We're talking about it. And it's one of the things I don't like about it. But the problem is, unless you talk about the other side, that just becomes the truth. And we've been there before, haven't we? That phrase. It's unbelievable. The stuff that's in there. I was saying to Robbo, if he was saying it about me personally or Robbo personally, it's defamation. It is. That's what it is. It's not based on any truth. I mean, as you say, there's a 53-year-old, Sean Cox, is he? Father, got kids, come over from Ireland to enjoy the game. Watch the footage. Well, is there any suggestion
Done nothing wrong.
Is there any suggestion that any Liverpool fans had anything to do with this? The idea that, I mean, even the very idea that he's putting the image back in people's minds that Liverpool fans are rampaging hooligans going around the place.
Yeah.
Where's that come from? Where? I don't even know how. Is he talking about Heysel?
That's what I was just going to say. Is he talking about 1985?
From 1985.
Yeah.
It's 2018. And the mad thing about that article is, the way he's talking about that, I mean, all the sensible and reasonable journalists, what they're actually saying, like Tony Evans, who talks about a campaign years ago he ran, talk about the Roma fans like this, talk about the Roma fans doing the same to United and Leeds and Arsenal and Chelsea. That's the problem here. And this is it's so hard to comprehend how someone can be permitted to put that in a national newspaper and shape the way people think about a group. As you said, what can this be? I might even actually look into whether there can be a class action for defamation. That's how strongly I feel about this. It's absolutely horrendous, because there will be people who read that who have already got a bias against Liverpool fans, who say, there they are again, that's what they said again, who won't look into it.
And why does it need to disappear down, the line of it's people from a certain place, or it's people who support a certain club, or it's people who wear a certain colour shirt or whatever? I mean, I've seen this as well again around the unfortunate incident that took place the other night. The internet is a cesspit at times. Let's not mince words on that score. But you've got people going, oh well, Liverpool fans were throwing bottles at a coach. Let's get it right. A small number of dickheads who claim to support Liverpool, who were there when a bus drove into Anfield, threw things at a bus. Whoop-de-doo. To compare it or to say it's some kind of preemptive thing that's going to lead to someone being stabbed. A lot of people need to be getting a grip here. We're all football fans. It doesn't matter who you support. We all just want to go and support our team, have a good time, have some fun, have a drink, see your mates, all the stuff we love football for, and this is not a part of it. And yet that article has absolutely staggered me. And I think when I get back to the office, I'm going to be having a look at it again, finding out who the fella is, probably going to write something back. And people say, oh well, don't feed the troll and all that. But like you just said, and why is this fella's version of the truth allowed to exist out there unanswered? It's not going unanswered. I'm going to answer it.
We're also as well. This isn't a Twitter troll who's got 100 followers and no one. And I agree with the best thing you do with that is just ignore them. This is a fella writing for one of the biggest papers in the country. And yeah, we've been here before, mate. We have been here before, and it's ridiculous. I mean, even the way we've talked about this. We're not labelling all Roma fans and tarring them with the brush of a small number of hooligans. And when I say small number, we're talking like 20 out of how many thousand came over. So it's ridiculous. Even that we've had conversations about the bottles being thrown at buses. Yeah, I love the whole Liverpool fans should be condemned for that. Well, all of us, all 5 million worldwide, how many bottles were thrown? And this is one of my biggest issues with all of this stuff. That's what it all feeds into. Everyone ends up getting lumped into the same pot, and it can be anything. I've written articles about this in the past, but literally I heard someone say the other day on a completely different topic, oh, you know what Americans are like? And I went,
no, what are they like? Yeah, what are they like? What? Have you met them all?
However many million Americans there are, they're all completely different, aren't they? And that's the problem. People start saying Liverpool fans, Roma fans. It's not. This is hooliganism. That's what this is. In a small number of Roma fans, nothing to do with Liverpool supporters, other than the fact there were men, women, and thankfully no children. But you saw the lad who was on BBC yesterday with Dan Roan, who's actually a proper journalist and trying to get to the heart of the story, saying like if there were kids there, you'd be petrified.
Yeah. And the area where it happened as well, there's CCTV, there's police, there's everyone walking up and down. This isn't kind of some kind of meet up to have a scrap between lads who want one. This was just indiscriminate. It could have been anyone. It could have been me. It could have been you. It could have just been anyone walking past. And that's whatever line there is around that kind of thing. It's hugely, massively over it. Anyway, let's.